You've heard the Genius bill did pass. We're going to go over every word in this bill. I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. I'm trying to break this down and make it as simple for you to understand as possible. We're all busy, so let's get right into this thing. All right, maybe you're like me and you were interested in what this Genius Act is really going to mean, right? So first of all, the Genius is guiding and establishing national innovation for U.S. Stablecoin Act. What's the difference between a bill and an act? When they first put it up and they argue over it, it's a bill. When they pass it, then it's an act. Get that out of the way if you didn't know. And it was signed into law on July 18th, 2025. This is really important for the crypto regulatory framework. This is really all about stablecoins, and stablecoins are really the bottom framework for everything else, in my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is financial advice. Need a financial advisor? Go find one. They're out there somewhere. Now, the first category here is reserve and transparency requirements. So, one-to-one backing. All payment stablecoins must be backed one-for-one by US dollar or a low-risk asset like treasuries, and they need to publicly disclose. Issuers must report the composition of their reserves each month, and highlight this word issuers because that is going to be, who is allowed to actually issue stablecoins. And then the audits, large issuers over 50 billion in stablecoin supply need annual GAAP audit and must disclose related party transactions. This is really interesting. Tether, I know Tether a lot of times operates outside of the US. Are they going to allow this GAAP to come audit them? Is that going to hurt them as far as being in the U.S.? Or are they, all the rumors not really true about them not being, insolvent? This thing has gone on in crypto for so long about USDT, and they still stand to keep standing up, right? So are they going to allow them to come audit so that they can work in the U.S.? I don't know. That's yet to be seen. And then, of course, define stablecoin issuers, people who are allowed to issue these stablecoins. So U.S.-based issuers are only those approved as permitted payment stablecoin issuers, including bank-affiliated subsidiaries, federal chartered non-banks, or state-chartered institutions, and are allowed to issue these stablecoins. Foreign issuers can operate in the U.S. only if their home country has comparable regulatory framework. They register with the OCC and hold reserves in the U.S. bank, so they need to hold their reserves here in the United States. I think that part's probably a good move. Regulatory and consumer protections, anti-money laundering and sanctions. We saw this part coming. It's not really a horrible thing, but you're not going to run away from KYC. They want to know your customer, right? So issuers must comply with Bank Secret Act, implement sanction checks and KYC protocols, and are subject to Treasury enforcement. And consumer safeguards, marketing must not imply government endorsement. In insolvency, stablecoin holders get priority over other creditors. That part's probably a good thing. Implementation timeline. So final regulations, can't talk today, must be drafted within 1 year by July 18th, 2026, including licensing, capital requirements, custody standards, and interoperability rules. That's going to be interesting. Interoperability is how things work together, across blockchain and stuff like that. So they're going to put some rules around that. That might be really interesting. So effective date, the law becomes active either 18 months after enactment, so around July 18th, 2027. So this is a little ways off. 120 days after the final rules are published, whichever is earlier, right? So 3-year safe harbor. Issuers have until mid-2028 before enforcement begins against non-permitted issuers. So at this point and for some time, non-permitted issuers are going to be all right. But come 2028, that's the hard line in the sand, right? Scopes and limitations. Scopes apply to payment stablecoins used for transactions, not decentralized tokens or non-payment stablecoins. No yield allowed. Issuers are banned from paying interest or yield on stablecoin holdings. That one hurts a little bit. Now, if you're playing with a lot of money and you're going in and out of positions and you like to hold it in your stablecoin so that the market doesn't fluctuate on you and hurt your gains, it's nice to get that interest. So even Coinbase offers I think it's 4% on USDC. Don't quote me on that, but it's something. And I guess they're going to take that away from them. So, or will they? Are they issuers? Do they just have it? If you're not an issuer, can you have yield? That'll be really interesting to see what they do with that. and non-intermediary transfers exempt. So peer-to-peer transfers and self-custody activities are completely not regulated. That's great. That's great news for the crypto space. And federal regulation will override inconsistent state rules for federal licensed issuers through certified state frameworks may still operate. So they're saying, federal is going to kind of take over, and what federal say is going to go in some framework of the states may still be implied, but federal is going to get the last say. That's the way that I, understand that. Clear regulatory definitions clarifies that complement stablecoins are not securities or commodities. Keep enforcing by the SEC and CFTC at bay. So keeps enforcement at bay is what they're saying there. So kind of in summary here of the Genius Act, summarize it even more. Reserves and reporting must be fully backed, audited, transparent, disclosed. Issuer authorization is only licensed U.S. or approved foreign entities. Consumer protection, AML sanctions, marketing rules, holders priority in insolvency, timeline, rules due mid-2026. They have to have it finished up, and then enforcement will really start, that hard line in the sand, mid-2028. And then was not really covered any self-custody. We just talked about that. And this law sets rigorous phrased net framework to ensure stablecoins are safe, transparent, and well-regulated, supporting U.S. dominance in digital asset payment while protecting consumers and financial systems. And that's really the main breakdown here. I did, of course, use ChatGPT to kind of give me some insights and shorten it up so I don't just rattle on and on and on from a page where, we go over the bill. And with that, that's pretty much everything that I have to say about that. Again, I said I wanted to keep it simple. There's probably other things we could go into much more detail about, but do we really need to do that? You just need to understand the basics. This is about stable coins, and a lot of the other cryptos are not really going to be affected. Will we see some more regulatory framework for, the rest of the crypto space? I don't know when that's coming, but I'm sure it is at some point. If you like this, share, subscribe. I'll keep putting out content. How about that? We'll make a little deal right here. And send it to somebody who likes crypto, somebody who's really into crypto that might not be you. Send them these videos and let them understand what kind of regulation is going to be coming into the market. All right, guys, Underground Crypto out. See you in the next one.